Welcome to today's video. We are going to be talking about what is in my 2021 triathlon bag. For today's video, I kind of just want to put a disclaimer out there. If you're thinking about getting into triathlon, you do not need this stuff. All you're going to really want is some athletic clothes, a pair of shoes, and a bike. That's all you need to compete. I've competed against people who have been riding full suspension mountain bikes, their cruiser bike that you would just take around town, just kind of wearing a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. You do not need to buy all of this stuff to compete in a triathlon. It all just kind of makes it move a little bit smoother. First things first, my tri-suit. This is a Synergy sleeveless tri-suit. Some of the benefits of it is it has side pockets on the legs and a zipper pocket in the rear to put nutrition in for while you're on the bike or on your run, as well as the fact that between the legs it has a cycling pad, so that way you get a little bit more padding off of your seat. I prefer the sleeveless suit just because I get really hot and having a little bit less fabric on me is always nice. So when I show up to a triathlon, I have my suit on underneath of just a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, so that way kind of blend in until I'm actually in the transition area getting everything set up. And then when I'm getting ready to head to the swim start, that's when I take off those other clothes and just have my tri-suit on underneath and I'm ready to go. Moving on, we have the swim as the first portion of the triathlon. Swim cap. So I prefer this thicker silicone swim cap just because it's a little bit more durable, it's gonna last longer. A latex swim cap, like this one, was a freebie from the triathlon that I just did from Blue 70, the sponsor. These are a little bit more fragile, and I found that over a longer life, they rip. Just thinner material and they don't last as long. So the silicone cap is the one that I actually prefer, but sometimes you'll compete in an event where they give you a swim cap. And so when that's the case, I'd say just wear the swim cap that they provide you. Looks a lot better for their pictures and marketing, which coming from that background, I can understand wanting to have people be seen in this. But it also makes you feel a little bit more connected to the people that you're competing with, just because everybody's kind of wearing the same thing. My goggles are the Roka X1s. I prefer this like amber tint. Because most of my swimming I do in the pool, and so I don't need a heavily tinted goggle that's like shaded for sunlight. I just need a goggle that kind of creates a little bit more clarity in the water, counteracts the blue color of the pool. These work great, fit my face type really well. I look forward to buying another pair for like outdoor open water swimming that have a little bit heavier tint in the future. Depending on the event, sometimes it's a little bit too cold to be swimming in the water in just a tri-suit, such as the case was for the Monticello Man that I just competed in this past Sunday. When the water's a little bit too cold, wetsuit. So this is my Xterra Vector Pro wetsuit. It is a sleeved and full-length suit, so it's not the shorts version. My thought was I usually run at a higher body temperature, such as I said about the sleeveless suit. And so if I'm really wearing a wetsuit in the water, it's because it's too cold. And so probably gonna want sleeves and I'm gonna want the full length. If money's no object, obviously buy whatever suit you want. But I wanna say I got this one for around 200 bucks. And if I had to do it again, I wouldn't. I was not a fan of Xterra as a company. Their customer service is horrible. And while trying to get in contact with them, there was no one that ever answered the phone. It didn't go to a voicemail, it just went away. As for the actual quality of the suit, it is a really good suit. I like the way that they laid up the different panels, the way that it fits around my shoulders, and just overall, it is a really nice suit. I cannot say the same for the company. Something that I have found to be extremely helpful for when I'm getting in my wetsuit is a plastic shopping bag. The plastic shopping bag is really nice for sliding into the suit. I always have trouble like just sliding against the neoprene for whatever reason. And so putting my legs and feet inside of a plastic bag really helps with just sliding through, working the suit up higher faster. I will be doing a video in the future of some tips and tricks on how to put on a wetsuit easier. One of the biggest ones that I have found is using a plastic shopping bag. So that's pretty much everything for the swim section of the triathlon. So as I come out of the swim, headed into T1, I pull the top of the wetsuit off, get it off my arms, get it around my waist. In T1, I sit down. I found this just to be the easiest, to pull the wetsuit off my legs, and I start with putting on a pair of socks, just because I don't like cycling without them, and I grab my shoes. So my shoes are these Shimano cycling shoes. I really don't even know the name of this model. I got these used from a cyclist that lives near me, that he was upgrading to a nicer pair of shoes, and I got these for 20 bucks, so really couldn't pass up the deal. I love the tighter fit that these have on my feet. It really gives me the confidence in my pedal stroke that my foot isn't moving around. And then on the bottom, I have a set of Look Keo pedal cleats that I realize goes against the Shimano brand, but that was the set of cleats that I had before I got these shoes, so that's what these shoes ended up getting. On my head, I have this Retrospect CM3 helmet, a helmet that I got off of Amazon for like 20-30 bucks. But it still had some features that I liked, which was mainly this rear dial that allows you to adjust the actual compression that it has on your head to prevent it from moving around. Later this year, I plan to upgrade to either a POC or a Giro helmet that has a MIPS system in it, which really helps prevent any kind of torque on your head when you would fall. For glasses, I actually wear a pair of Smith & Wesson safety glasses. Before I got into triathlon and biking and all that kind of stuff, I worked as a landscaper, and the amount of rocks and debris that I had fly at my face, having a pair of safety glasses was something that was extremely necessary to protect my eyes. When I got into cycling and saw everybody buying like these Oakleys and higher name sunglasses, they didn't instill the confidence in me that a pair of safety glasses did. While it is a cheaper and less stylish solution, I know that if anything's coming at my face, these glasses are going to stop it. Moving on to the bike, some of the attachments that I have is a little rear bag that if I have any kind of punctures or a mechanical issue, I have this little bag that sits on the back of my bike. In this bag, we have a little hand pump that allows me to just pump up any flats that I would get. I have a set of tire levers that actually have a little compartment in the center of them that have patches for tubes or tires. And I also have this little bike multi-tool that has a variety of hex wrenches, as well as a set of sockets. So that way, if I would have any kind of mechanical on the bike, I'm able to fix that on the side of the road instead of being out of the triathlon. So that's just a nice little convenient bag that I'm able to keep under the tail of the bike, out of my way while I'm riding, but yet I still have the confidence that if anything goes wrong, I am going to be able to fix it. So moving on to the bike itself, my bike is a 2020 Ribble SL Endurance. This isn't a straight triathlon bike, as you're able to tell. This bike is made for endurance and long distance riding. When I was buying this bike, I knew that I wanted something that I was going to be able to have for a longer period of time and be able to use it for all kinds of training. Since biking is my favorite aspect of the triathlon, I really wanted something that I was going to be able to go on bike rides without having to think about triathlon while on. So I went with a more standard bike that has the double diamond frame, and this bike is wonderful. It is a full carbon frame, carbon fork, that has a Shimano 105 group set with a 52-36 on the front and an 11-32 on the rear. With that span, really able to power up climbs easily while also having a high enough gear that while descending, I'm still able to be pedaling and maintaining speed and possibly even gaining it. As for the pedals that are on this bike, they are a cheaper set of, I think they're called like Exodus pedals that I picked up from the local bike shop as a used piece. for like 20 bucks. And so really could not pass up the opportunity to buy those. They're a nice lightweight cleat, lower profile, and I have absolutely no complaints about them. As for this seat, it is a Physic, I believe, Arione seat, and it has just enough flexibility for me without being too crazy stiff or too crazy loose. I feel like I have a lot of confidence while on that seat. Even without the pad and the shorts, this is one of the most comfortable saddles that I've ever ridden on. So while on the bike, I have 2 water bottles that I use, both made by LaCole. One bottle will just be straight water, and the other usually gets some kind of hydration tablet. I'll talk about my nutrition a little bit later in the video, but having just 2 bottles gets me through a sprint triathlon just fine. For my run, the shoes that I wear are the Hoka One One Clifton 5s. When looking for a shoe, I was getting a lot of recommendations for Brooks, and I was not as much a fan of them as I was these Hokas. They actually have a decent amount of padding, and I am a very heavy-footed runner. I tend to land with a pretty hard heel strike a lot of the times, and while it's something that I've been working on in my training, I wanted to get a shoe that had a little bit higher of a heel so that I would be landing a little bit more mid-foot. I have found these shoes to have a great amount of traction and a great amount of cushion, and I really enjoyed my time running in these. As for the belt that I used for my run, it isn't anything fancy. It's actually a little clip belt that I got when I bought a climbing chalk bag. It fits around your waist and is designed to hold your chalk bag on while you're climbing. However, it is also a nice durable material that I'm able to put safety pins through it and put my race bib on it. So with running all wrapped up, which is a pretty short category, what do I actually have in my transition zone? So besides setting everything up before the race, I keep just an old towel in the transition zone. This one's a little bit lighter in color. It has these greens and pinks on it, which makes it a little bit more recognizable. You don't really need a full-size towel. However, at this triathlon, I knew it was going to be more spaced out, so I was able to have a bigger towel to wipe off my feet before putting them into the socks for the bike ride. For my nutrition, it varies race to race because I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. But one thing that I've kept as a standard is these SIS hydro electrolyte tablets that I put in one of my water bottles for the bike ride. These little guys break down in the water and pretty much have a higher sodium content, so it helps you kind of retain the water so you're not getting as dehydrated on your ride. I realize the salt and dehydration things sound a little bit counterintuitive, but it works. For anything else that I have in my nutrition, I usually have like a Clif Bar or something on the bike ride that I'm able to comfortably eat while I'm riding. That has a little bit more weight to it and is going to be better for the long-term nutrition. From there, I usually have either some gels or Clif Blocks as some easier calories to take down and a little bit more short-term release for the energy. That is pretty much everything that I use in my triathlons. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I would be happy to answer them. But as I said at the beginning of this, you don't need this stuff to compete in a triathlon. All this stuff just makes it go a little bit smoother. A bike, a set of shoes, and some athletic clothing, and you're going to be able to compete in a triathlon. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave a thumbs up and a comment below. It could be what you want to see in the next video. It could be questions that you have about your triathlon kit or mine. But also subscribe to the channel so that you can see new videos as they come out. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.